So in this video today, I wanted to break down a particularly amazing transformation we've had for a client of ours over the last 12 months. We've been working with this client for more or less a year, and over the last 12 months, we've seen the revenue for April 2021, as I'll show here, go from £35,000 to this year, as I'll show here, go to £80,000. Now, in terms of the grand scheme of things, 35 to 80, it's a pretty considerable jump. But when you look at that at a macro level, and if we continue this trend into Q4 of this year and for the remainder of the year, this brand is going to experience seismic change and go from a brand doing in and around 400,000 to over $1 million in yearly revenue. And the momentum and the shift that causes in a business is quite substantial. The way you have to think about things, the way you have to look at things, and, more or less the things you can do within a business change. So you're allowed to be a little bit more creative. You're allowed to have a little more budget to experiment with things. And in this video, I want to break down the 3 things that we've really implemented that have allowed a massive change in this revenue. The first of which is diversification of traffic. When we spoke to this brand, about 11 months ago, they were solely reliant on Google Ads to provide, 70-80% of their sales. Now, fast forward 12 months, they're working on Google, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're doing a small bit of advertising on Snapchat, and then big emphasis on email remarketing. So instead of being one channel reliant, they now have 5 channels that they can go to and scale, and they're not overly reliant on that one acquisition channel to fuel the growth of the business. So diversification of traffic and experimenting and exploring to allow yourself to move to platforms such as TikTok, to allow yourselves to grow on platforms such as Facebook, such as Instagram, requires a completely different, capability to just running on Google. We've helped them implement and grow a creator team that has now given them a conveyor belt of content that we can plug into our ads. So having 10, 15 people who are loyal brand advocates who just consistently deliver us content. If you've got 15 people who are producing you 1 video a week, that's a hell of a lot of content that you can post on your TikTok, on your socials, on organic, but also test in your ads. So number 1, and what is really important, is that diversification of traffic, trying new things, really experimenting, and being able to not be overly reliant on just one particular channel. The second thing that we've done is really understand. It was one thing introducing channels, but understanding the overlap and ways in which these platforms integrate with each other, ways in which they replicate the customer journey, has been so crucial to growth. If you take an omnipresence strategy across your main platforms, as I've discussed, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Google, email, if you distribute your budget evenly across those, you're not really going to be optimizing based on the customer journey. What we've seen and what we have seen for this business is that Google Ads is a huge driver of new interest because it's such a hot topic in terms of search trends. Remarketing on Google compared to what we can do on Facebook, Instagram, are light years apart. And in terms of the resonance that they have with their potential customer, are streets apart also. So understanding the customer journey, understanding how your funnel is structured, understanding what you're attributing to each platform is so important. At the moment, we run about 70% of our total budget into our top of funnel audiences, so that we're constantly focusing on growth. If your budget is split 50-50, you're going to exhaust your remarketing audiences. Now, in times of sales and things like that, you're allowed to do that. But ultimately, we want to focus on growth. We want to focus on getting the brand in front of new people. Even at 80, 90, 100,000 a month in revenue, there is still so much of the market that has been not tapped into. If you look at the likes of Amazon, Google, Facebook, all of these huge companies, 100K a month. If you look at Gymshark, they're probably doing 100K an hour, 100K, every 10 minutes in multi-billion-dollar companies. So the scope is definitely there to increase. Other than that, the diversification of traffic coupled with understanding how that data flows allows you to confidently push your budget into areas where you're going to be able to maximize returns. You can accurately say 70% of my total budget goes towards top of funnel, 30% goes to my remarketing. You can then measure the effectiveness of that, and you can have a clear trajectory as to how you are reaching your goals. So those 2 points together are really important. The third one is more of a strategic move. And the third point, and the way we've been able to grow them, is a little bit outside of our service, but still within our skill set. We noticed that their high time, because they're a winter-based brand, their product is a warming product. It's a clothing item that you wear, and it's more geared towards winter. What we had to do, and from a marketing perspective, is how can we switch and how can we still continually shout about and promote the product during warmer summer and spring months, so that we don't experience dips in sales and we don't have this feast or famine process that occurs during the year. We're not waiting and banking on Q3, Q4 every year to prop up the rest of the year. So one thing we did was really dial in on our messaging, really dial in on our strategy, so that during those spring, summer months, as I said, we have something to shout about. We can talk about different benefits of the product, not just the warming effects, but also the fashion elements and how this product can be fashionable all year round. So really making that shift, working with the guys at the company to understand why people buy, the emotions behind it during spring, during summer, what they're looking for, what the fashion elements are. Can we build an occasion range? Can we add different products that just give us that different angle so we can push, so we can, as I said, have something to shout about during those warmer months. So those three things together, and the difference in messaging really ties into understanding how to do it on the platform. Then understanding how to do it on the platform, you must then understand what budget you're attributing to it, what percentage you're expecting it to make up, what returns you're aiming for, what is the objective of that particular step of the funnel. So if you were to put those in a sequential order, and if we were to probably go back in time, you want to diversify your traffic. You want to understand your messaging. And then you want to understand what areas of your budget and how you're structuring your funnel, where you're putting your budget, what platforms you're putting at each step of the funnel, and that will allow you to distill your messaging down to be applicable for that particular step. So those three things together have really allowed us to get this brand to what will now be, and hopefully over the next 12 months, I'll be making this video again, and it will be another 97% increase in terms of what we have added year on year. So hope you've learned something from this. If you're trying to grow your brand and you're at that mid-6-figure level, look at diversifying your traffic and how you're structuring your funnel, what platforms are playing what roles in what situations, and what messaging you are putting on those, and how can you have products that mean you can stay consistent the whole year and not experience these huge feast or famine times from Q4 to Q1. You're naturally going to experience a dip, but you should still have products that resonate with your audience that they can get behind, and your messaging replicates that on the platforms and with the correct weighting and platform attributed to it. So hope you found this video useful. Let me know if you have any thoughts in the comments, or drop a like and subscribe. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Hope your business is doing really, really well. If you ever want to schedule in a free value session, no strings attached, you can speak to me or one of my team just following the link below. Other than that, have a beautiful rest of your day, have a great rest of your week, and see you in the next video.